Welcome to Model Lessons in Mathematics, Elementary Science and Technology, Social Studies, Creative Arts, Physical Education for lower primary grades, produced by Rwanda Education Board in collaboration with the World Bank.
Hello children. Once again, I'm teacher Elisah. I'll be teaching you science, P3. Today's topic is about muscles and bones. Specifically, we are looking at joints of the human body. Joints of the human body is our lesson today. Before that, we have to know that in the previous lesson, the previous topic, we talked about vertebrates, and we said that vertebrates are animals that do have backbones. Vertebrates are animals that do have backbones. So in other words, these are animals that have bones within their body. So those bones, first and foremost, they are joined together. They are joined together. There are very many bones joined together. So where those bones are joined together, for example, if one bone is joined to the other, if this is a bone, and it is joined onto the other bone, this is one bone and joined to the other bone, the place around here where the two bones are joined together or where they meet is what we call a joint. This is what we call a what? A joint. So, by definition, in short terms, by definition, a joint by definition, a joint is a place in the body where two or more bones meet. Where two bones meet, that is a joint. You can simply say a joint is where two or more bones meet. Of course, in the body. So that is the definition of a joint, or that is what we can say a joint is. I want us to talk about these joints and where they are located on our body. So when we look at our chart here, this is showing a human body whereby we have the legs, the arms, then the middle part, which is known as the trunk, the neck, and the head. So that is the human body. So inside the human body, we have bones. That one you know very well. Now, these bones are joined at different points. As you can see here, we have a joint here. We have a joint here, named 2. We have a joint here, named 3. We have here 6, 4, 5, and 7. So, on our body, we have very many joints. We have very many joints on our body, but for the case of today, we want to look at the basic joints of a human body. The first joint here you see, I know all of you know this part of the body. Who can tell me the part of the body where we have one here? Yes. Yeah, this is the shoulder. This is the shoulder. That is the shoulder region. So the joint there at the shoulder is named the shoulder joint. So we can name these joints from here, I think. Joint number 1 from the chart there. 1 is the shoulder joint. This is a joint that is between the neck and the shoulder. This is the neck region is here. So we have this one as the arm. So the joint around here is known as the shoulder joint because this is the shoulder region. So it takes after the name of the region known as the shoulder on the body of a person. So we can simply say that the shoulder joint is a joint located between the neck, and the upper arm. The arm has two parts. That's why I'm saying upper arm. We have the lower part, which is known as the forearm, and we have this part, which is the upper arm. So that's why I'm saying it is between the neck and the upper arm. So that is the shoulder joint. Our joint number 2 is, as you can see here, that is the joint between the upper arm and the lower arm, or the forearm. That is known as the elbow joint. Elbow joint. The elbow joint. That is a joint that is found or that is located between the upper arm and the forearm. The forearm. That is joint number 2. Joint number 3, we have, it's here, as you can see, joint number 3. That is the joint around here. That is between the forearm and the hand. This is the hand, this is the forearm. So the joint around that region is known as the wrist joint. Wrist joint. The wrist joint. That region around here, number 3 here, is known as the wrist. So that's why the joint around there is known as the wrist joint. A joint located between the forearm and between the forearm and the hand. Good. So we continue. We have other joints. Joint number 4. Joint number 4 here. This is known as the knee joint. Joint number 4 is known as the knee joint, around here. This region here is known as the thigh, and this is the leg, or this is the thigh and the lower part of the leg all make up the leg. This is the shin here. So we can simply say that the knee joint is between the thigh and the shin. Number 4 is the knee joint. The knee joint. The knee joint. That is a joint between the thigh and the shin. That's how we can write the shin. Yes, that is the knee joint. Number 5, can have number 5 here. Our joint number 5 is around the ankle region. This region here is known as the ankle. So we call it the ankle joint, or the joint at the ankle. This one is between the shin, or between a joint between the leg, we can simply say between the leg and the foot. The joint between the leg and the foot is the ankle joint. Yes, we also have this number 6 here. Number 6, that is around this region here. That is around this region. And that joint is known as the hip joint. Hip joint. That is the hip joint. The hip joint is, of course, the joint between at the start of the leg. At the start of the leg, where the leg starts, that is where the hip is. Hip joint, a joint between the trunk The trunk is the other body part up, which holds the arms and the legs. So we are saying between the trunk and the leg. And the leg or the thigh, we can simply say, and the thigh. That is the hip joint. I think we also have another joint here. This one now, as you can see, this is where the tail bone is. Humans don't have tails, but there is a point where a tail would have grown if a person had a tail. So that joint is also there around the tail bone. We shall not name that one. Let's leave that one for the next lesson. But those are the joints we are going to talk about today. There are others in the body, but specifically we are talking about this. Now, I want us together to locate these joints on our body. Okay? I want us to locate these joints on our body. We shall begin by locating number 1, the shoulder joint. When we talk about the shoulder joint, you touch it. I want you to touch your shoulder joint. So, members, can we touch our shoulder joint together? Yes, that is the shoulder joint. We can even move it, and you can see how it moves. Good. Children, let's touch our elbow joint. Our elbow joint, all of us together. Yes, this is the elbow joint. This is the elbow joint. Good. Let's touch the wrist joint together. Wrist joint. This is the wrist region. So the wrist joint is around here. That is the wrist joint. Thank you. Good. Number 4, the knee joint. All of us, let's raise our leg and touch the knee joint. This is the knee joint. Are we together? Good. Number 5, the ankle. This is the joint between the leg or the shin and the foot. So you can see I can move it. Also, I can move it around here. Okay? That is the ankle joint. We have the hip joint. Let's locate the hip joint on our body. All of us, let's touch our hip. This is the joint around the hip region. Yes. If I move the leg like this, if I raise it up here, what is helping me to move this leg or to raise it up is the hip joint. It's the hip joint. Yes. I have a simple song. I want to teach you a simple song about joints of the bones. This song talks of how God thought of making man by joining of the bones. This song goes in this way. I want to teach you the first, then the first stanza, and we can sing together later. Here it goes. God thought of making man by joining of the bones, thinking of the greatest one, God made me. I repeat. God thought of making man by joining of the bones, thinking of the greatest one, God made me. You get that one? So we shall have also a rap there, whereby we shall be singing, join together the neck bone to the shoulder bone, join together the elbow, the arm bone to the, joining together the arm bone to the shoulder bone, joining together the hip bone to the leg bone. So we can add it there also. So let me begin it afresh. God thought of making man by joining of the bones, thinking of the greatest one, God made me. Join together neck bone to the shoulder bone, join together hip bone to the leg bone, join together head bone to the neck bone. You get it? Wow. Thank you for listening to me. We are going to look at the homework of today. Today's homework is a simple one. Today's homework is a simple one, whereby we shall have number 1 as a dash is where 2 or more bones meet. A dash is where 2 or more bones meet. I want the answer here. Fill in the blank with the correct answer. Number 2, we are required to list any 4 examples of joints in the human body. Any 4 examples of joints in the human body as we have seen there. Number 3, you want us to name the joint found between the arm and the forearm, or between the upper arm and the forearm. Remember I told you that the upper arm is this here up to here, and this is the forearm. So the joint in between there is what I want you to name here. Before I leave, I want to inform you that, or I want to tell you that these joints, together with the muscles, are the ones that help us to move. They are the ones that help us to move. Otherwise, if we didn't have the joints in our bodies, we wouldn't be able to move. For example, you can see from this, you can see if I try to remove, if I try to remove this, you can see. Now, this joint here helps us to move the arm. It helps us to move the arm. You can see how the arm can move together with the elbow joint. Okay? This is the other side of the arm. This one here. So we are able to move because of these joints. This is the hip joint. You can see how it moves. It is able to move, and therefore by doing that one, we are also able to move together with the knee. If you can see. So we are able to move from one point to the other by use of joints and the muscles. So I beg to stop from here. We meet in the next lesson. Please stay safe.